But on the contrary, what they did was, one of the co-accused goes to the court asking for, quashing of the case.
Yes.
The government did not even object to it. They allowed the case to be quashed. My point is, even now my worry is that the Congress repeatedly tried covering up, and knowing very well that further and further delay, like 4 years or 5 years, those indicted cannot even be given permission for, like officials. 32 of the 70 policemen were to be thrown out of the jobs, and the Congress managed to delay it, that none of them could be acted on.
You see, I think the CBI has
deliberately.
The CBI has a lot to answer for. But my question is to Aryaman Sundaram, Mr. Karthikeyan, I'm coming to you about that. No, watch it. My question to Aryaman Sundaram is this.
Sorry.
The court has refused to accept the closure report it had in December 2007. It has conducted inquiries again, only to turn up with the same findings. CBI. What is the hope that the CBI now will uncover something that it did not earlier? Is there any hope for the 1984 Sikh riot, anti-Sikh riot victims?
Arnab, there are two sides, two aspects to this entire matter. One is a political aspect, the other is a legal aspect. So far as the political aspect is, it's enough grist for the political mill. We've heard the Congress and the BJP throwing stones on each other as to how their own acts of supporting or being involved with or being associated with communalism in some way or the other is justified by the other side also doing it. I find it preposterous. As far as I'm concerned, any form of such riots is totally inexcusable, and so let's leave it there. The poor politicians will continue shouting at each other saying, you killed more people than I killed. That's not the answer. But I'm more concerned with the legal aspect of it. The legal aspect of it is this. Either the court's verdict has shown one of two things. One, either the CBI is a completely inept body, a completely untrustworthy body, which has very large, long-scale ramifications on our entire structure, and how even when there's any doubt of anyone, it's all referred to the CBI, as though CBI is the absolute trustworthy body which can deal with something. So in this case, either the CBI has been inept or is untrustworthy, or I think there is something which is very dangerous in the entire legal system. If the CBI has been a properly investigating body, then I fail to understand how, for something which happened in 1984, when there has been a closure report given, and thereafter in 2006, thereafter reinvestigation has been ordered, and after reinvestigation has been ordered, once again a closure report has been given saying the person concerned was not even there, he was at the funeral. Right or wrong, I'm not going into, I'm just talking facts. And thereafter, 3 witnesses are said to be necessary for examination, and the first time these witnesses' names ever came out was in 2008, which is 24 years after the incidents. Now what really concerns me, is this. Either the CBI can be absolutely blamed for being inept, not conducting an investigation, knowingly or otherwise, and I say culpably been inept. But if you're not willing to go that far, I believe this is a case of double jeopardy, where a person cannot keep going on and on and on being investigated 29 years after fact, when he's been given a clean chit twice. I heard one of the earlier panelists saying that the commissions also had cleared him. The point of the matter is, are we willing to stand and say that CBI has been morally or legally or has been completely inept and untrustworthy? That is the only justification for what has happened. And I want everybody here who justifies what's happened to say the CBI has been totally untrustworthy in this matter. In which case, why should we ever trust them ever again?
You know, Mr. Aryaman Sundaram, I cannot agree more with you. Because you mentioned very rightly, Mr. Aryaman Sundaram, in your observations that 24 years after 1984, the CBI wakes up and it decides to go to the United States to record a statement of one particular witness.
2 of them.
Two witnesses. The other part which you did not add, Mr. Aryaman Sundaram, which is even more shocking, is the CBI wakes up when? 3 months before a general election. 3 months before a general election, the CBI changes its position on Mulayam Singh Yadav one day. It goes to the court and says there is no case against Mulayam Singh Yadav when there are conversations going on with the Congress party for seat sharing. When the conversation with the Congress party fails, then it goes to the court and says reopen the case. Similarly, Mr. Karthikeyan, today people are asking that how is it that the CBI, which was told to reopen the case twice in 2007, suddenly goes to the US, says a witness is not not traceable, we can't find a witness, and in April 2nd, 2009, which is exactly, if I am not mistaken, 1 month before the general elections, right? It says,
exact 1 month.
It says close the case against Tytler.
And then Jagdish Singh came that CBI never found me. I was the one who was hunting CBI, and CBI never came to have my statement. That was what Jagdish Singh said in his statement, that I am ready to dispose before the CBI, had CBI called me up.
And that question sincerely goes to you, Mr. Karthikeyan, as one of the India's premier investigators. Isn't this really now suspicious?
And very interesting part of this investigation is...
Let him answer. I want Mr. Karthikeyan answer.
I have always been telling there is an increasingly widespread perception that in politically sensitive cases, the timing at least of the action taken by the CBI is suspect. That is why I say there is a need for absolute autonomy to be given to the CBI and also hold the director of CBI accountable in such a case. Today it's just a department of the government, whatever they may say. In the many cases like this, the timing is very difficult to justify. You have explained it correctly. And if public feel that it is being manipulated for political reasons, it's very difficult to deny that. Number two, twice it was ultimately the director of CBI is responsible for the decision taken either to charge sheet or not to charge sheet, whatever is the decision. He has got the right to differ from his junior officers, all right, but he has to record in writing why he is differing from them. It must be on record. But also, Mr. Arnab, the point is, how did the courts accept twice? After all, the courts are not supposed to blindly accept the CBI report. The courts also have a duty to ensure. The courts also have a duty.
Absolutely right.
To look into the matter whether it's correct or not. They could have gone deep into the matter. Otherwise, they can't just blindly accept what is given by the investigating officer. So you can see that not only the CBI's action suspect, I agree with you in this matter. Now, what about the courts? How did the courts blindly accept those verdicts? Now, today, another court says there is a need for further investigation. But what is the damage is that in the public perception, they don't know what is right, what is wrong. If after, how long can you go on like this? 28 years after that, investigation delayed, trial is delayed. That's why people are losing faith slowly in the entire administration of criminal justice system, which is very dangerous to the society. Very dangerous to the society. So that is why the increasing lawlessness, people taking the law into their own hands. It's high time. There's an end. After all, at least this one thing here. I am not going to sit in judgment whether Mr. Tytler is guilty or not. But how can you go on like this 28 years? What about the CBI decision is right? What about the courts? What about the previous two courts? What did they do about it? That means the two courts were wrong also. Now the new, the latest decision.
Complete subversion and mockery of the system. Witnesses have died. The case has been delayed. And Aryaman Sundaram, at the end of the day, I can only, wonder why, while everybody is willing to politicize certain issues, why nobody cares for the Sikh community and the sensitivities and the feelings of the Sikh community. Arnab, it is almost, unfortunately, it seems that the sensitivity of the Sikh community, does not matter. I mean, I'm sure you don't look upon a community and decide on whether they are politically influential or not and to what extent, and therefore, accordingly, we will respond on their sensitivities. Today, every Sikh person I've spoken to across parties has responded with a sense of deep hurt. They feel justice will happen, but so many generations have gone away without justice happening. Aryaman Sundaram wanted to comment in before I come back to you, Kumar Ketkar. Aryaman Sundaram wanted to add something to what former CBI director said.
What I wanted to comment on, Arnab, was this. May I just comment on this? I agree completely with what Mr. Karthikeyan said, that the CBI is this premier organization which unfortunately today in public perception has become very faulty in many of the decisions it takes. My concern goes a bit further. We continue trusting in the CBI. Even today, courts are approached and courts pass orders saying, we are not happy with the investigation, let CBI investigate. I want to know what confidence a citizen of India, what confidence after what has happened today, if you say that the court was correct in reopening a case, and let's not forget that you're reopening a case which has literally been closed twice against an individual after 28 years. There's one way of saying that what happens to that individual's own fundamental rights. That is also an argument which is going to come up. He can say, look, 29 years, I've gone through all this, and once again you open, how can I have any faith? You have to quash this now. He can also say it. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong. But what I am saying is, if the reopening is correct, that means the CBI was so faulty that what happens today, when even today the courts, the Supreme Court, the High Court pass orders saying, we are not happy with the investigation, let CBI investigate. Now we're all saying, if this reopening of the case is correct, that the CBI is the most faulty body, then why should we have a CBI? And why should we give CBI the powers it has? I'm sorry, it makes every citizen lack confidence in the CBI. Tomorrow, if there's a matter in which the CBI is investigating, I am going to say, no, I'm sorry, I don't want this body to investigate, because everybody today, so many people, all the panelists, everybody say, oh my God, don't trust the CBI.
That's the reality of the CBI.
Well said. That's the fact about the CBI.
And
hear it from Aryaman Sundaram today, because enough is enough and the time has come to open up. You know what the CBI, what the court says today? The court says, as many as 4 witnesses claimed, shown and named to be eyewitnesses of the incident, CBI chose not to record their statements. The conclusion, if a witness is reliable or not, and consideration of his giving different version rests with the court. Irrespective of whether he was telling a truth or the lie, the CBI was obligated to record their statements. I don't know what is this investigating agency.
Very interesting part
a joke of an investigating agency that does not record witnesses' statements.
The very interesting part of this investigation is, CBI has been recording the statement of the driver of Jagdish Tytler, who claims to say that Jagdish Tytler was there. Secondly, CBI in its report said that we got a CD of the Jagdish Tytler being present at the Mrs. Gandhi's residence. At the same point, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan was there. At the same time, Mr. Fulka said they should have recorded the statement of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. They should have recorded the statement of Mr. Kaul, who was the Special Commissioner of Police at that time. They should have recorded the statement of Mr. R.K. Dhawan. Had CBI in his mind want to prosecute Jagdish Tytler, want to charge sheet on the face. But CBI was in a pressure being used as a tool from a Congress, because CBI is a Congress Bureau of Investigation. It has nothing to do with the general public. They have no concern about the Sikhs. They have no concern about the riots.
I don't agree.
Only concern is Congress,
it is not a Congress Bureau of Investigation.
They always want
that
we never get a justice, and Congress bent upon not to give us a justice.
It is not the Congress. It is being used by the others. So let's not make one party responsible. They are the Bureau of Investigation of whatever is politically convenient, whatever. And what really gets me in this is, at the end of all this, either the court is wrong or the CBI is wrong. Both can't be right. Now, whichever way it is, it worries me.
Or both are wrong.
Arnav, we have nothing to do with the politics. The only thing, as being a Sikh, we have lost 6,000, we have got a 6,000 precious lives. We have nothing to do with the politics, we have nothing to do with any party. But one thing I must say, had Congress been fair with the Sikhs, we should have got justice in the regime of Congress itself. Has Congress been fair with us?
Oh, how can you not record statements? I just can't.
And a very interesting fact is there. Another charge sheet is there with the Delhi police, which is lying from last 16 years.
I was just going to say this. CBI did file a charge sheet in '94 after the Narula committee.